Real quick, guys, in the beginning of this video, I do want to say a huge thank you to everybody who entered the previous giveaway for that third gen Cummins plus the $5 grand. Quick clarification, every order placed between January 9th and February 12th got entered towards that truck. All orders placed between February 10th and February 12th were also entered for this truck in addition to the third gen. However, they are two separate giveaways and two separate drawings, and this giveaway will continue until March 19th. That being said, this is launch week right now, and every $1 is 30 entries towards winning this first gen plus $5 grand, and that ends on Sunday. So if you want to grab 30 times entries, do that right now if you'd like. Links in the description below. And as an additional bonus, you can use code SHIRT6K for 6,000 additional entries for any order that contains any t-shirt on our website. Thanks so much. Welcome back to another video here. I'm going to try to make this kind of a vlog style for this one. I've got some stuff that's going to be kind of jumbled together here. It's not going to be like one set topic for the most part. At least it's not planning to be. So I did get this bad little unit here just as a little extra utility piece of equipment here for around the farm. It was cheap. Family member had it for sale and they're like, we don't really have a use for it. You want it? I said, for the price, sure. I'll use it a couple of times here and there for getting firewood out of the woods, hauling stuff to the house, or running, in this case from Rosine, 2 heavy batteries back and forth, stuff like that. Just random little stuff that it'd be nice to have a cheap four-wheeler for. As of now, I mean, it runs and operates perfect. I do currently have this mower still for sale though. And I got the chainsaw yesterday to do a little bit of firewood cutting, which maybe we'll do a little bit of that today yet. But I was cutting some firewood, and right now I've got Rosine's batteries pulled out so we can have those on trickle charge, which is what they're doing right now. And I'm again going through this phase where I did this a few weeks ago. I'm doing it again where I look around my shop space and my barn space and I'm like, I've got a lot of stuff that we have that we just do not use. Like, I just don't use it, and I never really have, and I don't have any plans to use it. I'm gonna be taking some more stuff here that I have around the place, putting it for sale, and just getting rid of it. Like, for example, Rosine's old fenders. They've been sitting here since we pulled them off the truck. One of them's got a little bit of rust. The other one doesn't really have any rust, so might as well put them for sale. Somebody will probably get some use out of them. And then of course I've got several boxes of, like, you know, stock second gen tail lights and headlights and stuff like that. So I might find some of that stuff here. Anything that could be worth something to somebody, taking them, throwing them for sale on Facebook Marketplace or something, and just getting rid of them so they're not wasting space around the shop. Maybe in turn take that money and buy something I'll actually use, like for example a log splitter. So I'm not buying firewood because it's kind of expensive to have to buy firewood, and it doesn't make any sense when I have the opportunity now to just cut my own wood because we've got down trees back there. There's a couple cherries, a couple oaks. There's actually quite a few down trees back there. As of yesterday, I took the four-wheeler back there and just to kind of look around. Found some stuff that could be good to cut, so figured why not sell some junk and buy something that's actually useful to park around here. So we're actually gonna head back to the woods. I'm gonna do a little bit of firewood cutting. Actually broke my helmet. I was trying to glue it back together. But it's not looking like it wants to hold. So I got chaps, helmet, saw, and I got it filled up, but we're not going to be back there too terribly long. There's just a couple of small trees I wouldn't mind cutting up. And this thing, the electric start doesn't work. Flip the key on, take this. It just runs. She ain't the prettiest, but it works. Here's one of my mock scrapes the deer used all season, and then one of my food plots. You can see one of my stands hidden up in that tree there. It's actually a really sick setup. It's on that small tree right in front of that bigger mulberry tree, and it hides it really well. And I got a cell cam over there and a couple other cameras hidden throughout. It was supposed to be a brassica plot and radish, but only half of it really grew well. The other half kind of grew some clover and stuff, but it didn't really produce like it was supposed to. And I'll show you my mineral location over there in a second. Start this thing back up. Here's my mineral location over here. As you can see, I didn't till that up. That's all from the deer. There's another mock scrape I have. Got a little creek bank here. And this is where I'm going to be cutting. I got a couple things cut out of here yesterday, right through here. But I'm going to start to cut up this whole top here. There's an old cherry tree top, and then there's an old oak top, and then there's another big cherry top up there. But for today, I'm going to try to start cutting this all out here, because a lot of this is burnable the size that it is if I just delimit. And then I'm just going to get some of this brush and get it out of the way and kind of open this area back up. And it'll help with movement through here and us being able to move through here and the deer, but also we burn firewood here at this new house now, so you know, I don't really want to end up having to buy it when I have plenty of it laying around. So we're going to get to it and start to clear some of this out. Well, we got a good little pile here cut. Most of the stuff that I wanted to cut up, I got it done and out of the way. So here's what I got cut up so far. I just tried to stack it between some little trees here so it's not scattered all over in the brush, but got most of that cut up. I got all of that cherry cut up except for a little bit. There wasn't really as much as I thought there. Decent pile, but only about a few days worth of firewood once it's all split. There's still the rest of that tree there, but I did run out of fuel for the chainsaw. And I did not bring any more with me because I kind of wanted to just have one full tank, and whenever I run out, which I actually kind of did on purpose. That way I had a point that I had to make myself stop because I didn't have any more fuel. So I filled everything up and I ran at one full tank, and that's all I'm going to do for today. Now let's get back over to the barn. Got the Kubota diesel running. I let the old Toro run for a while. This truck is actually getting picked up tomorrow by the shipping company that's going to haul it off to the winter. It's been been parked here for a couple of weeks waiting on that truck to come here to pick it up, but I think tomorrow he said he's supposed to be here to grab this thing, which is going to allow us to have a little more room in the shop. So I've actually got to start my truck up, and then I'm going to try to start my wife's truck up. I did just recharge the batteries on a trickle charger for a few hours. They were pretty drained. I didn't even try to start it because I knew it wasn't going to start, because they've been sitting here for probably a good 3, 4, 5 months maybe since they've been ran at all to be able to charge back up a little. So with the cold weather and just sitting, that's just kind of what happens. So I got those going. I'm going to start this up and move it out of the way first and get this thing fired up. Now for the grand finale, Rosine. This thing has not been turned over probably since September, October. I want to say September, but it could have been like early October. You know what? I take it back, mid-October. Mid-October was the last time this truck was ran, because I remember we had to move it back in here after she did a surprise birthday for me. She don't want to start. I literally put those batteries on trickle chargers this morning, probably 9 a.m. and it's about 4 in the afternoon now. And it only got a couple cranks out of it and they died. So wonderful. This truck over here, I mean, it fired right up. First crank, just boom, fired instantly. I'm gonna have to pull the batteries back out again, and it looks like I'm probably gonna have to let the battery sit overnight, and hopefully then it'll do it. And if that doesn't work, then the batteries may have just gone bad from sitting too long and not actually being used. And it sounds kind of silly, but you know, with these trucks, I mean, the batteries only last 4 or 5 years as it is, even if you run the truck day in and day out, and then, you know, they keep a constant charge. You never run the things ever, the batteries they just don't last. Well, wasn't able to start Rosine today, but I do have the batteries put back on the charging. So hopefully then by morning, after they have a long night of trickle charge, they should fire the truck up. So we'll see. But I did rearrange some things now that the 24 valve that was parked in here for a few weeks longer than normal. It'll be heading off here first thing tomorrow morning. But I was able to rearrange some stuff, move my truck over further, line this stuff all up in a row. That way I have plenty of room to pull Rosine out when the time comes. Because we're going to be doing a few things on this truck here and trying to address some of the small issues that it has, kind of like the center console, how it's not fastened, which I know how to fasten it. I just never finished it once I installed it. I had originally left it to where my wife had kind of moved it around and wherever she wanted it, depending if we had somebody in the back seat or nobody in the back seat. Which is part of a different issue. But at this point, the truck, it just needs to be finalized and just bolted in place so it doesn't move around. The transmission fluid leak, I'm not really sure what to think about that because it was already addressed at one point further down the road. Well, when I say further down the road, I mean further up the road from when, way before we even moved out here to Ohio. I mean, I think it was before my wife and I even got married. Her dad had a shop go through and address the transmission fluid leak. You know, they said they fixed it. Clearly they didn't, or they just didn't really know, you know, what he was talking about and fixed something totally different and missed something. I don't know. But it's so weird. I mean, it's one of those, like, it looks like a lot. Don't get me wrong. It looks like a lot. But that's like 4 or 5 months of a slow drip. And here's the honest truth about it. The thing's always dripped a little bit of transmission fluid. The difference is we've never actually had concrete to park it on. So if it was dripping in our other barn, which is dirt floor, we never noticed it. Or if it would drip in the driveway, we never noticed it. If it dripped in the yard, we never noticed it. Just because there was nothing to be able to see that it had a drip. That's the one thing I love and hate about having a shop, is when you own a lot of old trucks, which is like our niche. That's what we do, is a lot of old stuff. You find out what leaks and what doesn't leak real quick because we're used to parking stuff just like, you know, in the driveway or out in the yard or whatever, like at our other places. And now we actually have a shop floor. So if something has a leak, you can catch it, which is good and bad. It's wonderful when you're trying to fix all those things. You want to know, okay, is it leaking? What color's the fluid? You know, where's it dripping from? Like, it gives you a more specific location and it just makes it easier to track stuff down. When you are hoping to just kind of let a small minor thing just like knock it notice so you don't worry about it so much, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Because, for example, this thing's always leaked transmission fluid. We've always driven it. It's never given any issues. And even if you check the fluid level right now, it's hardly below the max line. Like, it's like not even in the middle between the safe line. It's like right at full level, which is, you know, like I said, it looks like a lot, but that's like 6 months of a slow drip from somewhere. We've never added transmission fluid. From the time my wife and I started dating, once every like 6 months, we'll just check the level. It's always been right at about the full line. Clearly it's dripped down enough to where it's come down on that a little bit, but the amount it's come down has clearly not been enough to cause any kind of shortage with needing it to be re-topped off or anything, because it has not yet left the full or safe level of fluid, not one time. Another thing we're needing to address is the power folding mirror switch thing that has never been addressed. So the switch module in the corner of the door here, just so we have clarification, this piece right here has some kind of defect because I had installed these mirrors and I totally forgot that that adjustment had stopped working function for that mirror. And so, like, some of the contact points must be bad in that little toggle. So we need to buy a new one of those. And my wife may have some different plans for this truck that we're going to be discussing here, hopefully in the next video. And I would like her to go over those things with you, since it is, of course, her truck and her ideas and her plans. So I'm gonna try to get her out here in the next video. For those of you that do not know, if you didn't pick up in a couple, I think it was 3 or 4 videos ago, I had mentioned that we had just had another baby. So we now have 2 little ones, and she's got some plans with this truck. It's not really something that she thought about much until we had another kid. And then she's kind of got some different ideas and different plans for this thing. And so in the next video here, hopefully I can get her out here. It's kind of tough right now because we do have 2 kids. So unless Ty is here while he's inside working, keeping an eye on him for a little bit, or we have somebody over here to watch them for a minute, it's kind of hard for her to be able to come out here and do the video with me, just because we can't really just because it is still a little bit cold out, and to have a newborn out here and a 2-year-old running around the shop while we're trying to film this, it just gets a little tricky. It's all doable, but it's just a little tricky. Stay tuned, and hopefully tomorrow, though, we can get the thing started, and then we can get started on a couple of those small things that we need to address. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Smash that thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet, if you enjoyed this content or other content like it on my channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.